a toda la afición de la lucha libre. Este que les habla es Michael Morales Torres, integrante del equipo de lucha libre online. Y tenemos el enorme privilegio de presentarles a nuestro invitado en la tarde de hoy de Kentucky para el mundo, luchador de segunda generación, representando a MLW, AEW. Él es Brian Pillman Jr. Mr. Pillman, it is a huge honor for us to have you as our guest. How are you doing today, sir, with the camera issues and everything going on?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm just glad to be able to start this interview with you. Sorry for the technical difficulties with the camera.
Yeah, but the important part is that you're here. We thank you so much for the effort and your time. And we wanted to start speaking this. We wanted to start this interview regarding your debut. You made your debut less than 3 years ago in 2017. And it's been a crazy roller coaster ride. I mean, you've been in AEW, MLW, CCW, Warriors of Wrestling, basically everywhere. Hell, you've been in Qatar against Enzo at one point. Did you imagine when you started that this ride was going to be so fast and crazy?
I mean, I had no idea. I didn't know a lot about the wrestling business at all. So it was a very unique thing. It was very exciting for me to get into wrestling and to see the reception and how excited other people were for me to get started wrestling. So, I had no idea how fast things were going to take off. And what I did was I just made sure I was trained properly, and I made sure that the sky was the limit. You know what I mean? I didn't want to miss any fine-tuning details. I wanted to make sure that if at any moment, if this does take off, that it takes off to its fullest capacity, and I think it really did. So.
Awesome, man. So your father was an amazing wrestler and a football player. What was the thing that motivated you to follow his footsteps? But more importantly, do you feel the pressure of being a second-generation pro wrestler?
Well, having the same name as him always meant that it was a reminder in a way that he wanted me to follow in his footsteps, and when people stop you on the street all the time and you're growing up or you go to different places and even when I'm wrestling, people just know, they know the name Brian Pillman, and there's really only one direction you can go with that name, and that's into the wrestling business.
Awesome, man. So there are a lot of second-generation wrestlers that had crazy stories with their fathers and mothers. Do you have any story with your dad you can share while he was working in the pro wrestling industry?
Yeah, I don't have any real stories from him because he died when I was 4 years old.
Oh, wow. Yeah, which is really, really sad, man. Let's talk about the present. At this point, you are currently working for MLW, and they're having the restart on November 18. To all our fans, I'm going to say this in Spanish. MLW va a tener su restart el 18 de noviembre a través de Fubo Sports y su canal de YouTube a las 7 de la noche, hora del este, en donde Brian Pillman Jr. se va a estar enfrentando a Myron Reed por el campeonato peso medio de la MLW. What can we expect from Brian Pillman Jr. in this match against Myron Reed, and what can we expect from MLW's restart?
MLW is coming in. They're going to be firing on all cylinders. You know what I mean? There's going to be lots of new names, lots of returning faces. It's actually very exciting. I had a very exciting time getting to go back to work there. Obviously, the match with Myron Reed is coming up. It's a huge, long-awaited final to a feud, that kind of spiraled out of control with Myron and them assaulting me on different occasions, outside the venues and stuff. So, what was once something that was just about the title, quickly became personal. And you're going to see a lot of that emotion. You're going to see a lot of that personal back and forth in this match. So I'm really excited for that to air. I'm really excited to see, what MLW has culminated into in this pandemic era.
Awesome, man. How's been like to compete in all elite wrestling with elite talent from all the world? How's been your experience so far in AEW?
AEW is incredible. It's a very wrestler, oriented. A lot of control, a lot of creative energy coming from the wrestlers. we're all happy to be there. It's, it's not a very judgmental place. It's a very friendly place. Everybody's hanging out, um, having a good time, trying to put on the best wrestling show in the world. And when everybody's under the same roof that has the same goal in mind, and everybody's got the same drive to kind of stick it to the man, and to be the rebellion, and it's just such a high energy. It's like an energy you can't explain. You can't find that anywhere else. Where the underdogs are finally, putting on this product, putting on this big show, and it's exciting, and people are into it. The fans are excited about it, and it's just revolutionary, man. It's just they're changing the world. They're changing the entire landscape of pro wrestling. I saw it when it started forming. The tornado started forming on the indies, the eye of the storm, and then all of a sudden it started branching out and getting bigger and bigger, and they're causing waves and waves. And AEW is a huge storm to be reckoned with, and it's only going to get bigger. It's only going to grow, internationally and otherwise.
How has been the experience so far in the creative process? I mean, many wrestlers complain about the creative process in other companies, but so far, no one has ever complained AEW's creative process because, as far as we know, they let wrestlers be wrestlers. So far, how's been your experience backstage in AEW and with the whole creative process, Brian?
Oh, it's been great. It's kind of a shock because you don't expect to have so much control over what you're doing. You don't expect to have so much of your ideas actually listened to. So it's a unique change of pace, but I mean, it might not be good for everybody. Some people might operate better with a little more direction. Some people might want to be kind of told exactly what to do, but I think AEW has that blessing of just, hey, we're going to put this together, and you got a couple guys, I think Pillman might fit well in a segment here, and it's like all of a sudden, next thing you know, I'm on TV because somebody pitched something that they wanted me to do, and it wasn't like, it didn't have to go through a bunch of hoops, and it didn't have to go through all this red tape. It was just kind of like, go out there, be organic, unscripted. This is real television. This is real stuff that you guys are seeing on AEW. It's very organic. The stories are very real. I really enjoy it.
So I'm going to say something in Spanish. Brian Pillman Jr. tiene su canal de Twitch, twitch.tv/Brian Pillman Jr. Ahí van a poder verlo haciendo mil cosas, sobre todo sus streamings. Twitter.com lo puedes conseguir en Flying Brian Jr., al igual que en Instagram @Flying Brian Jr. Sus camisas, prowrestlingtees.com/Brian Pillman Jr. Ahí pueden encontrar una enorme variedad de mercancías, y cameo.com/Brian Pillman. De igual manera, si quieren un video de cumpleaños, si quieren un video de Navidad, de grabación, este es el caballero para hacer ese increíble trabajo y le pone todo el empeño del mundo. Así que lo tienen en Cameo, Pro Wrestling Tees, Twitch, Twitter y el Instagram, que es muy importante. Brian, so far, we saw you in MLW with a pretty particular faction, which was the Hart Foundation with Teddy and Davey Boy Smith Jr. You guys took separate pathways at this point. Do you think we can see this incredible stable back together in the future?
It's very, it's quite possible if somehow, something happens in December with MLW, maybe we have something that comes out with the tag team, but I don't see that happening. Maybe on the indies or something. It's just going to depend. It's going to depend where a lot of guys end up. It's going to depend on where Davey Boy takes the trajectory of his career. We all know that I'm at AEW. I'm now tagging with Griff Garrison as the Blondes. We're bringing back the Blondes in a sort of different fashion than the past. But yeah, no, I mean, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. So I would hope to be back in the ring with Davey Boy again. It would be a dream come true. It would be cool.
Which is our next question, basically. You've been working with Griff Garrison in this new version of the Hollywood Blondes. It's incredible. It's really fun to see. How's been working with Griff as your tag team partner?
He's awesome, man. I really like Griff. He really works well in a tag team. He comes from a tag team background with his former partner. I come from a tag team with Davey Boy, so I'm used to being in the ring with a guy a little bit taller, with a little bit different move set. So it was very organic for us to kind of move around together and create a team together.
Awesome. Brian, last but not least, what message can you send to all the fans out there that want to pursue pro wrestling as a career in the future but don't know how to start, where to start, or doesn't have the motivation or the background in the family or basically the support from everyone? What message can you send to them in order for them to achieve their dreams and don't quit as you're doing it right now?
Yeah, the best way to really get on top of the game, and I did it too, and everybody should do it, is before before you're thinking about trying to have matches or doing anything crazy, it's all about finding a reputable school, finding a credible school, a school where a guy has credibility and he's done something in this business, because that's going to take you further than anything. Once you get in and start paying your dues and you're paying to the right people, the universe will kind of take care of itself, and you'll find out really quickly what you excel at in business and what you don't, and whether or not you have what it takes to be a star. Some people, not everybody has what it takes to do this. That's why it's a very tough industry. It's a very physical industry, and even mental when you consider all the different emotional, dips that we deal with and stuff, and the highs and the lows of the road. So it's very taxing on the human body and on the human mind, and you have to make sure you go to the proper training first. And also, you got to get in the gym too. As you can see, I stay in the gym every day to protect my body, and you got to be able to protect your body with your muscles, all the banging and stuff that's going on, and all the bumping, jumping off the top rope. If you're not in physical good shape for this, then you shouldn't even be thinking about looking to train somewhere. You know what I mean? It starts with getting in shape. Step one. Step two is then to go look for a proper training program.
Awesome, man. That's great advice. So to all our fans, twitch.tv/Brian Pillman Jr., Twitter y el Instagram como Flying Brian Jr., ProWrestlingTees.com, Brian Pillman Jr. y Cameo.com/Brian Pillman. Mr. Pillman, thank you so much for your time. We wish you the best of lucks in this new chapter of your career, since you're basically everywhere. And man, we hope to see you soon in AEW Dynamite. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.